Did I not say, do not deceive me? Then he said to Uzziah, gird up thy loins, take my staff in thine hand, and go thy way. If thou meet any man, salute him not. And if any salute thee, answer him again, and lay my staff upon the face of the child. And the mother of the child said, as the Lord liveth, and as my soul liveth, I will not leave thee. She wasn't going to leave God. Y'all didn't hear what I said. Well, I'm tired, preacher. I will call on God tomorrow. Tomorrow might be too late. Yes. She said, I ain't leaving till I get what I come for. See, we give up too easy. This is what we do today. God promises us something and we see it happen for a little while. Then all of a sudden it seems to vanish and fall away. And so we go back to the altar one time and we say, God, could you resurrect it again? But because we don't have the faith we're supposed to have when we come, we don't see the fruit of it immediately. And so we turn around and we go back home. And we say, it must not have been for me. I'm talking to somebody in here. In verse 30, he said, or the word says, he arose and followed her. In other words, she said, it ain't good enough for your man to go lay your stick on my promise. And so it said he left and he went with her. It said, verse 31, and Uzziah passed on before them and laid the staff upon the face of the child, but there was neither voice nor hearing. Wherefore he went again to meet him and told him, saying, the child is not living. And when Elisha was coming to the house, behold, the child was dead and laid upon his bed. Now listen to me. They ain't no telling how long that boy laid on that bed. But I do know this. He was laying on the bed that was made for a man of God. See, there's something about God's anointing. It's real. It's a tangible source. It can pass from me to you and you to me. It remains places where you've been. He said he laid on that bed and he said Elisha came into him and said the boy was dead. There was no doubt he was dead. It said verse 33. He went in therefore and shut the door upon them twain. Prayed to the Lord. Just him and a promise. Just him and a promise, Pastor, nobody else. And he said he went in and he shut the door. He said he prayed to God. Listen to me. It's important that you don't let your faith waver in the midst of your prayer and seeing God move. Yes. It said, verse 34, he went up and lay upon the child, put his mouth upon his mouth, and his eyes upon his eyes, and his hands upon his hands, and he stretched himself upon the child, and the flesh of the child waxed warm. Then he returned and walked in the house to and fro. You ever spent me to and fro walking in your house, waiting on God to move? See, he went back up again. He said he stretched himself upon him, and the child sneezed 7 times and the child opened his eyes. And he called Gehazi and said, call this Shumanite. So he called her, and when she was coming to him, he said, take up thy son. In other words, your promise is alive again. Now here's the point. Why was the promise alive? It wasn't because of Elisha. It was about what God did. See, the woman had faith to believe. If the woman would have went and said, my son is dead, and she just started getting all over him and started getting all in his business, I'm going to preach to y'all now. See, what we do today is our promise gets taken and we start blaming God. We say, God, why did you take it away from me? You told me that it was mine. Well, why don't you go after it? Why don't you find yourself at an altar somewhere saying, God, you promised me that, and therefore I'm going to stay here until I see it alive again. People need to quit blaming God for stuff. God ain't done nothing wrong. The Bible tells us that the devil is like a roaring lion seeking whom he may devour. He's looking for you. Jesus told Peter, he said, Satan desires to sift you as wheat. But I like the last half of that verse. He said, but I have prayed for you that you may be able to endure. I'm looking for somebody here tonight that can endure through some things and see that promise come back to life again. I'm looking for somebody that knows how to endure. I'm not looking for somebody that can bring a shout. I'm looking for somebody that can endure. Listen to me. The shout is for a moment. Endurance is for a season. I told y'all this word was for y'all. And my folks sitting up here don't know what to think. This is y'all's word. This is y'all's word. This word is for you. Now, how many of you are willing to take it, accept it, and stand on it, and then begin to say, God, I believe for what you can do for me. What do you believe? How many of you want to be blessed? What's wrong with y'all? Raise your hand over here. My wife and sister niece, only two wants to be blessed over here. See, Jesus is blessed. You know, I'll tell you what, when Jesus calls me blessed, I take it to the bank. Blessed are they that have not seen, and yet they still believe. Let me tell you something. Y'all are praying and believing for some things. You don't see it yet, but God says, blessed are they that believe and have not seen. Don't let the small things of life hinder you from what God wants to do in your life. Listen to me. A lot of people would say what this woman went through was a big problem. It wasn't too big for God. And I came this way tonight to tell you this. It is well.